In the book of Exodus, chapter 34, verses 1 through 4, God instructs Moses to chisel out 2 stone tablets like the first ones, which Moses broke. God calls Moses to come up Mount Sinai alone, where he will inscribe the words of the covenant. This act signifies a fresh start and a renewed commitment between God and his people. It reminds us that even when we falter, God offers us a chance to begin anew. In our lives, we must be willing to accept God's invitation to renew our faith and commitment, trusting in his mercy and grace. In verses 5 through 9, God descends in a cloud and proclaims his name, the Lord, revealing his compassionate and gracious nature. He is slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness. Moses bows down and worships, asking God to forgive the people's sins and accept them as his inheritance. This passage highlights God's enduring love and mercy, encouraging us to seek his forgiveness and embrace his loving nature. In our daily lives, we should strive to reflect God's compassion and grace in our interactions with others. Verses 10 through 17 describe God's covenant with the Israelites, promising to perform wonders never before seen. He warns them against making treaties with the inhabitants of the land, to avoid being led astray by their practices. This section emphasizes the importance of staying true to our faith and values, resisting the temptations that may lead us away from God's path. In our modern world, we must remain vigilant and steadfast in our beliefs, ensuring that our actions align with our faith. In verses 18 through 26, God provides specific instructions for worship and festivals, including the Feast of Unleavened Bread and the Sabbath. These practices are meant to remind the Israelites of their deliverance from Egypt and their covenant with God. This passage teaches us the importance of regular worship and remembrance of God's blessings in our lives. By setting aside time for spiritual reflection and gratitude, we can strengthen our relationship with God and remain grounded in our faith. Finally, in verses 27 through 35, Moses descends from Mount Sinai with the new stone tablets, his face radiant from speaking with God. The Israelites are initially afraid, but Moses reassures them and shares God's commandments. This transformation signifies the power of God's presence and the impact of his word on our lives. We are reminded that by spending time in God's presence and embracing his teachings, we too can be transformed and become beacons of his light in the world.